This is Official Nerd Business.
Hello nerd boys and girls and welcome to Factorio. Factorio is a game about building machines. These machines make machines and those make other machines and those make components which you will feed into a machine where it will make machines out of them again. The story is basically that you crash landed on this planet and need to escape by building a rocket, and you will build this rocket with the component produced by all these machines, and the local inhabitants are not too pleased with you extracting the minerals from their land and producing a lot of smoke in your industrial process. On this playthrough we will be using the default settings that Factorio has to offer. So there will be enemies spawned, there will be resources in their normal intended amounts. There are a lot of settings you can customize to get a different experience from Factorio, like how big your ore patches are, how frequently they'll appear, how aggressive the biters, the enemies will be, and whether or not science is more expensive or recipes themselves, so the cost to make machines, whether they will go up or not. Configuring those values is something better left to more advanced players. We will be using the default settings. We will first look at a preview to see if we like the map that's been given to us, and I can immediately see that this map is not all that. You can't see ore patches or enemy spawns here, but I usually like to have a medium wooded territory to begin with, and this is a desert. It will be very hard to get hold of wood, which you will be using a lot in the pre-game. This looks a lot better already. We're going to need that water right in the center, and there seems to be quite some growth down south and to the west, but open areas to the east and north. So here we are. This is the map view. Here you see ore patches. Here's iron ore, some copper, coal. We even have a little oil here, which is nice for mid game. And there's also some enemies around. 2 spawn points. By the looks of it, we'll need to deal with these pretty soon, I guess. But for now, let's first get started on getting us some wood. Punch trees, get wood, right? This takes a while because we don't yet have the first degree axe, so let's get that. There it is. It's immediately equipped, as you can see down right. You also start with a mining machine which needs fuel, and when it's placed on top of a resource patch, it produces that resource. In this case it's coal. I've chosen to start with coal because every machine we're going to build afterwards needs that coal, and while this is generating a basic amount of coal, I'll just be hand picking some iron ore. We'll also be placing some miners down here a little later on. So the early game you see me now picking ore manually, and then in a minute you'll see me constructing items manually from my inventory. That's what you'll be doing a lot the first 2 or 3 hours. Once you get your main bus set up, that should go down a little. But it's unfortunate, I guess, for new players. It's the early game of Factorio. The first 2 or 3 hours really are not representative of later game. So this game relies heavily on automation, and you need to do a lot of handcrafting to get your first bit of automation going. So the early game is kind of doesn't really feel like playing Factorio later on, which is a shame. Some more handcrafting. There were some big rocks in the way, which I removed. Rocks yield stone, and the big ones even hold some coal, which is nice. So we're playing this vanilla. There are an incredible amount of mods available for Factorio, and some add completely new resources or recipes to use with those resources, some changed behavior of the spawners, the enemy spawners. One very popular mod overhauls the generation of resources. And the only mod I currently have active in this world is the bottleneck mod. It shows a little red, yellow or green light on your machines to show whether it's empty, it's blocked, or it's currently running. Here you can see on the oven, on the smelter, I have a green light. And here we'll be placing the first mines on the iron and feeding whatever that mine produces directly into an oven. Let's give them both 5 coal to start with. As you can see, there's only 5 coal in each of those machines. That's, as said before, we're going to eat through our coal like crazy throughout the entire game, in fact. We don't need this one anymore. When you destroy a machine, the machine is placed in your inventory intact and all of its contents are placed there as well. If you try to break down something but your inventory is full, then the action usually is stopped and you get a warning about a full inventory. And also these drills on the coal I've placed in such a way that they keep feeding each other. And the way that works is that most machines that use coal as fuel have a certain limited amount that they want to store for themselves and then pass on the rest. So when this has 1 coal to run on, it automatically stores, it keeps on digging and stores up to 50 coals, which it gives to this neighbor, which also feeds him back. So at any time there can be up to 100 coal stored in that setup without needing a box. And you can add machines as long as one feeds into the other. You can build a circle of them to get this up, like 4 or 6 or 8. Setting up some stone mining. Stone is important because it builds ovens, and ovens are furnaces. Furnaces are a part in the miner drills you see here. So we need to pick up coal. We need to manually insert coal into the drills. For a game called Factorio, it doesn't really look like a factory yet, but that will come along once we have electricity running through our research station and researching the first 1 or 2 things in the logistics branch. Then we can start setting up our main bus. Let's add some more coal miners to this little bunch here. So now not only will this store up to 200 coal, but it will also get coal faster, so don't necessarily need full 200. I just want to get the coal faster than 2 machines will give me. Wood is nice in early game. You use it for power poles. We'll get the power in a couple of minutes. And you can use it for fuel, which I think is kind of a waste when you have coal accessible. And you can use it for wooden boxes, and also throughout the entire game, in fact, you like stuff in boxes, and wooden boxes aren't that bad. So time to start on the copper. We need copper mainly for green circuits. And those green circuits go into just about everything. So here we are setting up. I'm kind of short on coal, so let's grab some coal. Setting up to copper miners. As soon as we have access to electricity, we'll start ramping up copper production. And with that, green circuit production. In the top right corner of the screen we see a little map of our area. If you mouse over any installations, you'll get to see some details on those. And you can see how far your research is coming along. Right now we are not researching anything, because to research anything we need a laboratory, and for your laboratories you need power. First power source you'll build will be a steam engine, and this has basically three components. You need a water pump to get water into your boilers, you need a boiler to heat the water as it becomes steam, and you need to pump the steam into a steam engine, which then generates the power. So once again, extending the coal train here, and we're beginning to look into setting up steam power and using the steam engines really eats through your coal. So in advance I've extended my ability to produce coal. Now we'll also need a bit of iron for laying down some pipe work. Right now I'm figuring out what's the best place to build my power unit, because you'll need some room to extend it a little later on. That's everything in Factorio. When you build it you think, wow, this machine really produces a lot of iron or power or coal, or what am I ever going to do with these amounts? And half an hour later you're thinking, didn't they used to have a lot of iron? And then you've built some new machines that eat through iron like crazy. The amounts you need for the next step in technology usually go up significantly. So laying down some pipes, and I'm really not happy with where the steam engine is placed, so I'm removing that again and building it here. Yeah, that's better. Boiler needs water, and it needs coal to heat up the water, and when that becomes steam it's transferred into the steam engine. There is the production of power. Now to feed coal from the box into the machine we need a inserter. We haven't built those yet. Inserters and belts are in the early and mid game are the meat and bread of your logistics. So inserter, coal goes into the box. This is a special, this is the only inserter that will work on coal itself. every other type of inserter you can build. We now have an electric inserter here, but there's other types we'll discover later on by doing the proper research. They all require electricity. And this one doesn't, so it takes one coal for itself and then feeds the rest of the coal into the machine. So we now have power, we just don't have anything that uses power yet. And the first thing you want to build that uses power is your laboratory. And labs work in that sense that you select the technology that you want to research, and there you can see how long it will take and how many science resource packs you need to complete it. There are, I believe, 7 types of science packs. The most basic one of which is the red one. Yeah, this seems like a good spot to build it out. So now we need to hook up the steam engine to a power pole. Kind of figuring out how I want to do this. These most basic power poles have a bit of a limited range. The purple area at its base is where it will give off power. So if you build anything that requires power, you need to build it like this in... Wait, why is this not powered? I hooked it up right. There's coal, but no water. No water. Oh! I built an underground pipe there. Right. When I moved the power unit, I had already placed an underground there, which I apparently missed the second time round, so I built one right behind it and it didn't connect properly. Okay. So now we have a powered lab, we just need some more science packs to put into it. Man, these science packs take forever. That's the first. And the second, I requested 39 of them, so before we have all of them, that's gonna take a while. So right now I'm not really short on any resources other than coal. So we extended coal again. And as you can see, these bad boys ran out of coal for smelting. We now have an additional 11 science packs in our pocket. So that's good enough to get the first technology we want to research. Let's put the box down here with a yes, we can power it. So there is a standard inserter which now puts our science packs into the lab, and the lab continues its research. First thing you want to do is keep your research going, so the first little bit of automation we will do is with the labs, producing the red science packs and a little later on the green ones. Looks like our first research is almost done. Yes, there it is. So we now have access to an assembly machine, which is a tiny little factory on itself, and we'll start researching turrets, which will take care of our defensive needs. Because it won't be long before the biters will start coming in. Biters, the red dots on the map, you can only see that area that you in the starting area, or whether you are near to it, or if you have built a radar to detect them. And biters themselves react to the pollution you're generating. So we have mines which are polluting, we have steam engines and smelters which are again polluting, and that accumulates, and when the biters get a smell of it, they decide they don't really like you and they come in to attack you to destroy the source of the pollution. So to deal with that and defend our base, we can build walls and turrets. At first gun turrets, but later on laser turrets. And we can also go into their bases, their spawner bases, and destroy the spawners themselves, which are usually a bit heavily defended. So we need to take care of bringing along enough powerful enough weapons and armor. The biters get stronger throughout the game. They evolve. There's also settings in the world generator that you can use to alter how quickly they do just that. So let's first automate our the production of our science packs. In the assembly machines you can tell them what to assemble. The first assembly machine you get is pretty limited in both speed and the fact that it can only assemble things that require no more than 2 items. So the gear wheel is easy because it only needs iron, and when I say 2 items, gear wheels require 2 iron, but iron counts as one component. It just needs quantity too. Where do I want to? Can I get them both into range of this one power pole? I actually can, that's nice. Oh wait. But then I can't get a line in. This line is not going to run through it, so we can just put the power pole there. Don't need that anymore, because we're going to pick off items from this belt. And this power pole needs to go there. Yes, I can now just snake in the line with the science packs. So the gear wheels that we're producing here will be fed directly into the machines making science packs, and that line will hold copper. So copper and gear wheels are the two components you need to make a science pack. And here we'll have some iron coming in. Later on you'll be pulling these items off of the central bus system, or using bots or other kind of logistic delivery methods. Right now I'm just gonna run over to my iron production line, grab some iron, put it into a box, have the box empty its contents out over a line I'll be running across the top of this machine. Yes. Might not look fancy, but it works. And if it looks stupid and it works, it ain't stupid. Right? So let's grab some iron. We'll be using a lot of iron to create the first couple of belts that we will need to build a belt factory. So I'm expanding iron production right now. Coal seems to be keeping up with that demand, so that's nice. The first power pulse you get are a bit short range. Belts and yellow inserters. We will be making a lot of those. So I've chosen to unload this one box with two machines because the inserters themselves are not terribly fast, and every gear wheel factory needs two iron plates. So for loading them in, I also built two inserters. It's a bit overkill, I guess, and it kind of stalls because the production of a science pack takes really long time. So it does require some gear wheels. It requires one gear wheel, I see, but it will not overfeed the machine, so it produces it just in time. And by the looks of it, the labs eat the red science packs just as quickly as one assembler can make them. A lot of work to do. Yes. This logistics update holds some belt splitters and undergrounds. Those we will be using a lot in our bus design as well. So that's very important for starting to set up our bus. My axe almost broke. A little later on we'll be getting steel axes. Oh, my axe did break. It'll take a while before all the other things I've ordered are built. The Factorio build queue, whenever you want an item and you do have the resources to make it, it starts constructing it, and if it's a composite item it'll start whatever you need to put into it all the way down. And some of the things I've ordered require a lot of materials and are kind of slow to build. So before I'll have this pickaxe it'll be a long time, because it's working down the queue and it's now at circuits which go fast enough, but you just need a lot of them. And now the first electric mining drills are coming along. And then we have our iron axe. Then for some power poles.
And that's all the Factorio for today. I'll see you next week when we start work on our main bus. Thanks for watching this video on Official Nerd Business. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell icon. Did we discuss everything you wanted to hear, or did we miss anything? Any topics you want to hear in O&B? Leave your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.